Hi, my name is Mary. Today FM plays the best music in Lambasa. Today FM rocks.
My name is Thomas. I'm here in Nakasi and I like to listen to Today FM because it rocks.
My name is Milenia. Today FM rocks here in Singatoka.
My name is Enrique and Today FM rocks here in Tavua.
My name is Mary Jane. I love listening to Today FM here in Ba. Today FM rocks.
My name is Ilay Tiambal and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks here in Osur.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In the news tonight, budget likely to encourage more private sector investment. FTU hopes budget will address teacher shortages. And tax incentives needed for small businesses in rural areas.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
A little over an hour to go before the 2019-2020 national budget will be announced, and expectations on what it will entail lean towards a budget that will tackle expenditure and implement fiscal buffers. Economy Minister Ayaz Said Qayyum recently noted that this budget will be framed against the reality of a global slowdown, geopolitical tensions such as the touted trade war between the US and China, as well as the uncertainty of Brexit, which may affect our sugar trade deals. Maggie Boyle reports.
No man is an island, and that's even more apparent with the national budget taking into account all possible factors.
There's obviously a slowdown in the global economy, US-China trade uncertainty on Brexit too. As you may know, that we already signed an MOU with UK in respect of our sugar going there.
With the majority of reconstruction work post-TC Winston ending, the budget spends are expected to be somewhat lightened.
Now, the rebuild of Cyclone Winston was about $500 million. Now, most of that is completed. Of course, now we've got some hangers over, what we say, hangers over from Josie, Kenny, and Gita. Some places in Kandavu, of course, we're still building.
According to the minister, don't expect too many changes on the tax front.
Another clue. Again, maintain consistency in tax regime.
Fiji's governor, while reiterating the effects of the global turndown, notes where stimulus would be needed.
Most of our trading partner growth has been revised down, so this will impact tourism. Tourism is still expected to grow, but maybe slightly slower than what we had expected. And based on the trends we have seen over the last few months, some sectors are a bit weaker than what we expected.
The proof, as they say, will be in the budget pudding, and that's about to come out of the oven. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
We now cross live to Maggie Boyle here in Suva. Maggie, we know that last year's budget was family-focused. Fijian Families Matter was the running theme. What can we expect this time around?
Good evening, Jackie. Yes, family will remain a strong component of government's expenditure policy. In particular, the Minister for Economy has continued to reiterate that increased home ownership is a key area that they're going to be looking again at allocations in this particular budget. He's also mentioned the fact that their insurance cover is one of the lowest in the world in terms of 10 to 12% penetration. In terms of that home ownership, increasing supply of residential lots and rental houses, and this, of course, being done with a public-private partnership. Of notice as well in terms of Family First, the well-targeted, effective social protection system. Now, Jackie, as of last count, the ministry responsible for this, which is Women, Children and Poverty Alleviation, accounted for more than 83,000 Fijians are on some sort of state assistance as well. How is all of this going to be possible? Of course, the question is always about revenue, coming back to those taxes and making sure those taxes are being paid. One of the things that the minister has also continued to talk about is the continuance to streamline taxation and customs administration processes. Of particular note, of course, is that the Revenue and Customs Service will have a new tax system in place on the 1st of August, which will go live. It is the National Information Tax System, which will go online and which will mean all your dealings with the FRCS will be online. So certainly an interesting time to look forward to. And that system, of course, a little over $48 million. In terms of other tax initiatives, tighter compliance and improving revenue collection. And he specifically notes they will be clamping down on tax evaders and tax cheats. Now, before we wrap up, we just want to get to a few of the big spends which we expect. Infrastructure will continue to be a big spend, likely given, of course, the aging of our infrastructure, roads, bridges, and jetties. That, of course, last year around $563 million was allocated for FRA, looking at something in a similar ballpark. Also, Water Authority of Fiji as well, given that water is a constitutional right. They had over $349 million allocated to them last year, and that's expected, of course, to be something close to what they're looking at this time around. Jack.
Thanks so much for that update, Maggie. The Fiji Commerce and Employers Federation would like to see tax incentives for small businesses in rural areas included in the 2019-2020 budget. On the eve of the budget announcement, the Federation is hopeful the new budget will have initiatives to help small businesses grow that will in turn create employment opportunities across the private sector. Lena Rees has more.
Just like other organizations, the Fiji Commerce and Employers Federation is looking forward to a budget in favor of its members.
You have all the infrastructure in place, the roads are in place, the electricity, the water, and we move out and we hire people from the region, from the area in which they operate. So people, say for Rekreki, you can have the villagers in Rekreki operating in a certain factory within that area.
The Employers Federation in its submission requested for certain decisions and policies that can increase productivity and benefit the employers.
If we are the engine of growth of the economy, we'd like government to ensure that the policies that they put out have the private sector in mind, especially for our existing businesses and local businesses who have been in Fiji through the good times and the bad times.
Nesbitt Hazelman says the employers are happy with the consistent policies introduced by the government throughout the current financial year and is looking forward to its continuation. Lena Rees, FBC News.
The Fiji Teachers Union hopes the 2019-2020 budget will address the shortage of specific subject teachers in schools. General Secretary Agni Deo Singh says they've highlighted a few concerns with the government, which will be taken into consideration in this year's budget. Koroi Tandolala reports.
The FTU General Secretary says they've been in discussions with the Education Ministry on how their concerns can be addressed.
There are a number of very vital areas of need that must be addressed. And some of these areas are the establishment of the councillors in the schools, the establishment of executive teacher positions in primary schools.
Seeing as they also hope to work with the government to address the shortage of qualified teachers in the next few years.
We have an acute shortage of teachers in secondary schools in certain subjects. So we need to attract quality teachers in areas of subjects like mathematics, industrial arts, science, and the like.
Singh hopes the government will provide some form of incentive in this year's national budget to address some of the issues raised with the relevant authorities. Koroi Tandolala, FBC News.
The Ministry of Industry and Trade reveals that 47 projects were implemented in this financial year by local investors and hopes to grow this in tonight's budget announcement. Retaining trade standards is priority for the ministry in order to attract more investors, thus benefiting the economy as a whole. Lena Rees reports.
There is always hope when it comes to more investments in the country, especially after 134 projects were implemented by both local and foreign investors since last August.
These projects were worth around $404 million and it created employment or it provided employment to almost 2,500 people. And the area where they have been investing in is generally in the service sector, followed by wholesale and retail.
Completing projects on time is vital, allowing for more projects to come into place.
As you know, a number of activities were undertaken by the ministry over the years. For example, ease of doing business, digital. There were a number of other activities that the ministry started, and we just would like to see the completion of those projects.
The investments from August 2018 to May 2019 generated $613 million and employed a total of 3,800 Fijians. Lena Rees, FBC News.
Political and economic stability is key to boosting investment, says academic Dr. Rohit Kishore. With Fiji on track for its 10th consecutive year of growth, Dr. Kishore believes that has resulted in a surge in loans as people indulge in private and public investment. Ritika Pratap reports.
There has been a lot of talk about liquidity, and economist Dr. Kishore explains the bank's liquidity may have been affected due to an increase in lending.
And perhaps that's the reason why Reserve Bank has increased the interest rate on commercial lending. That will slow down borrowing, and if you slow down borrowing, it will sort of restock, the loanable funds.
In its latest economic review, the RBF has stated the new lending of commercial banks contracted by 10.7% in April, while outstanding lending rates increased.
And also you look at the banks on the investment side, the banks are offering quite a significant, like 6%, almost 5 or 6% on fixed deposits. So if the deposits in the bank starts increasing, that will also build up liquidity.
Meanwhile, BSP country head Harun Ali says his bank has no restrictions as there is adequate liquidity to meet the loan requirements.
We have never restricted anything on the lending front. So for us, it's business as usual. So when our customers continue to invest and they want us to back them up with loan facilities, most welcome to talk to us.
The RBF says as at the 29th of last month, liquidity was over $329 million, which is sufficient to support economic activity. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
Still to come, early morning blaze at Vision Motors Nandi warehouse. And manslaughter trial to begin next year. Details after the break.
Nambula FM, nambandua ya nasere.
Oya uvasitsai sa ilambasa, ya ndo talita ina warro nambula FM nambandua ya nasere.
Dua do tumeli ako na tao no hinga toka. Talita kina na warro nambula FM, nambandua ya nasere. Wana mtumela nambula FM, nambandua ya nasere nawaluan.
Na evengo fani na tao.
Services at Vision Motors in Waimalika Nandi will be temporarily offered elsewhere due to a fire that broke at the building this morning. General Manager Central and West Vicky Chan says they are advising customers to take note of the incident. Chan says at the moment they cannot ascertain the cause of the fire. Firefighters have also managed to contain the fire from spreading to other buildings.
If you see the building, it was run down by the fire. So there was a lot of fire, and it took the firefighters probably 2 hours to contain the fire. Yeah. So none of the staffs were in the office at that particular time. So all the staffs of Vision Motors are safe, and a few vehicles have been. They were inside the workshop. At this point of time, we can't actually state what was the total cost of damages.
The trial of a 30-year-old driver who allegedly caused the death of 2 women in Valilevu last year will begin on August 17th next year. Viliame Ratoto is charged with 2 counts of manslaughter and 1 count of breach of zero alcohol limit and 1 count of dangerous driving occasioning grievous harm. It is alleged that on September 16th, 2018, the accused engaged in a conduct by driving a motor vehicle in a manner which caused the death of 2 people in Valilevu. The case will be recalled on 23rd August this year for pre-trial conference. The trial will be held on the 17th to the 28th of August next year. Fijians and people in the Pacific region have a long and deep relationship with the ocean. Speaking at the World Oceans Day event in Suva today, Acting Minister for Fisheries Osea Naingamu says women should be given more opportunities to contribute to ocean spaces. Kelly Vadhala reports.
In an effort to protect the ocean, more women voices are needed in the fisheries, maritime, marine science, managers and decision-makers spaces.
As people of the ocean, we are adept to the different roles of gender in the ocean. However, I wish to emphasize the fact that yes, indeed, some gender, especially our women, have been disadvantaged and deprived of the opportunities to equally contribute to the ocean space.
The Pacific Islands Forum says the knowledge of women is essential to achieving SDG 14, which is life underwater.
Indeed, in our region, women make up 90% of the informal employment sector, which includes catching and collecting and selling of fish, crabs, shells and seaweed for their livelihoods and well-being.
This year's World Ocean Day theme focused on gender and the ocean, with all Fijians encouraged to play a part in sustainably developing our Blue Pacific. Kelly Vadhala, FBC News.
After 29 years, the Catholic Church of Fiji will again have their general meeting. The meeting, which can only be called by the Archbishop of the Church, was last held in 1990 under the leadership of the late Archbishop Petero Matava. After 2 years of preparation, the meeting is currently underway in Lami. Archbishop Peter Lloyd Chong says the meeting is important as it will enable senior members of the Church to discuss issues affecting the Catholic Church. Archbishop Chong says members should use the meeting to bring innovative ideas that will help move the Church forward.
Will be different in a number of ways from the 1990 Synod for two very practical reasons. First, we are a different people to the people that gathered in the 1990 because we live in a different context.
The FBC family once again shared the spirit of Eid by distributing sweets at all the major centres this morning. Commuters received sweet packs at the EV Triangle, Langere Bridge traffic lights, Laudala Bay and CMF Kinoya. Other distribution points were in Nandi and Lambasa. This is an annual event whereby similar distributions are done for other major festivals. FBC will also have its multicultural Eid Fair and Festival tomorrow at the Roops Mega Complex in Nakasi. The 2019 Bottega Fijian Festival offers a unique fashion platform for aspiring models and designers. Fashion Council of Fiji Chair Faraz Ali says last year they received positive feedback and this year they know the areas they need to work on. Ali says despite this being the second year of the fashion festival, it's a learning experience for them. He adds the Fiji fashion industry's local and regional designers will have solo shows to showcase their line at tonight's Fijian Fashion Festival.
This year the festival is a completely different animal because for the first time we have majority solo shows, which is what happens globally. We are very proud and pleased to be heading into the future in that way because we feel like our industry deserves it.
And later in sports, new football program to start in the country tomorrow. But first, Rachel joins us for the latest in business.
Thanks, Jackie. Good evening, and coming up after the break, FRCS to work with BSP on new e-payment mechanism. And in growing Fiji, Carpenters Finance opens new branch in Lautoka. Stay with us.
For the best classic hits, I only listen to Gold FM here in Singapore. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Seni Rawa. I love listening to Gold FM here in Nosuri. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Dino. I'm from Outrigger, Koroko, Singapore. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Salote. I love listening to Gold FM here in Nosuri. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Bula, my name is Marida. Gold FM plays the best classics here in Outrigger.
Leading business tonight, the Revenue and Customs Service is working with BSP and Bank of Baroda on a real-time e-payment mechanism to be part of the new tax information system. The initiative will be rolled out in August. Through this initiative, bank customers will use their respective online banking portals to make payments to the FRCS. The payment will be validated in real time against the specific tax types and amounts payable. Chief Executive Vishwanath thus says customers will be able to see the types of taxes that are due, the amounts payable, and the penalties that these overdue taxes have attracted. And Sharon from HFC Bank joins us now with the latest from the Money World.
Asian stocks traded mixed today on reduced volume. Traders awaited a key US jobs report and the outcome of further tariff negotiations between the Trump administration and Mexico. US initial jobless claims were 218,000, unchanged from the previous week's revised level. Meanwhile, the US trade deficit narrowed in April as both the exports and imports dropped. This highlights the impact of tariffs even before negotiations with China unraveled and while Mexico is pushing for more time to negotiate. Officials of the US Federal Reserve and IMF separately warned on Thursday that global trade tensions and rising tariffs pose an increasing risk to decades of US expansion as well as to the global economy. Elsewhere, the GDP of the Eurozone countries maintained its growth rate in the first quarter with a rise of 0.4%. And that's all from HFC Bank for this week. Vinaka.
Thanks, Sharon. Here are today's exchange rates as set this morning. Now, the markets are being cautious and there wasn't too much price changes. The Fiji dollar slipped against the Chinese yuan as well as the US dollar and the Kiwi, Kina and the Yen. But the Sangamoli gained against the Aussie dollar and the euro. Looking at the commodity prices, oil prices were on the rise today, passing $53 per barrel. Gold was up at $1,333 per ounce and silver rose to close at $14.89 per ounce. And in Growing Fiji tonight, Carpenters Finance today opened its new branch in Lautoka in an effort to reach their customers. Located in Main Street, Lautoka, General Manager Alok Mishra says the branch will be important as many customers have been inquiring about the services of Carpenters Finance. Mishra says they see Lautoka as a potential area for the company in terms of getting new customers.
It is on rent and we invested close to 50,000 and maybe 7 to 8 staff will be sitting here to serve the customers. So it will have all cashiering facility, foreign exchange, MoneyGram, money transfer, all those services will be available.
And that's a wrap on the business desk for this week. Kura is up next with sports.
Thanks, Rach. Good evening. In sports tonight, Rookie of the Year promoted and government assistant needed for schools swimming. This and more coming up.
Hi, I'm Jyotishma. I'm from Singatoka. I love listening to Mirchi FM. Mirchi FM is hot.
Mirchi FM is #1.
I'm Charlene Robert. Mirchi FM rocks in Lambasa.
I'm Soname Nasori Jackson. Mirchi FM is hot.
My name is Raymond Dutt. I'm in Baba Singh Alliance. Mirchi FM is hot in Lambasa.
I'm Kritika from Jackson Nasori. I love listening to Mirchi FM here in Nasori. Mirchi FM is hot.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Celebration continue for World Rugby Sevens Rookie of the Year Ratumeli Dernalangi. Dernalangi was hosted to a morning tea by fellow Fiji Navy colleagues today, where he also received a promotion in ranking. Apenisa Wangarandovu reports.
It was a day that senior naval officers looked up to the sevens player for his great achievements.
You know, the Olympics is around the corner, and we are for sure that come next year, you know, you'll be the first Olympic medalist within this organization.
Fiji Sevens team manager Chone Nirua also received a promotion from the rank of a petty officer to chief petty officer. Nirua encourages fellow naval officers that anything is possible if the mind is willing.
I would like to encourage Navy personnel playing rugby. Not only rugby, in other works they do. They have to, just to give them all.
Speaking in his native Nandi dialect, Darren Nalangi thanked the Fiji Navy for instilling him certain discipline that is helping in his rugby career. Apenisa Wangarandobu, FBC Sports.
Inside centre Josh Matavesi will play a crucial role for the Flying Fijians if he is to make it to the World Cup in Japan. Matavesi is one of the 50 players in coach John McKee's World Cup extended squad and will be fighting for a spot come selection day.
You know, his opportunity to get in the squad would be probably as a utility player. I don't see him as being probably number one in either position he's a specialist in.
National Sports Swimming Association President Patrick Bauer is expecting government to provide assistance to districts in order to establish swimming. Bauer says it's critical to have swimming in schools, and to get swimming fully established, there needs to be a structured pool in place in all districts. Bauer says he has noted in his teaching career that children use physical education as a means of facilitating their learning. He adds children need to have a well-structured physical education program.
So when we take the children swimming and we bring them back, I worked in a school that had a swimming pool readily available. The children flowed. They got through the curriculum in much shorter time, and it established them with their learning. But that's in swimming. I mean, there are other skills that children need, and so this must be incorporated in schools.
Australia recovered from an awful start to beat West Indies by 15 runs in a wonderful World Cup encounter last night. A day where fortunes fluctuated throughout could have been over quickly when the ferocious West Indies pace attack reduced the defending champions to 38 for 4 and 79 for 5. In today's Player of the Day, West Indies fast bowler Sheldon Cottrell is known for his salute celebration. Cottrell ran around on the boundary and stuck out his left hand to pull in the memorable catch. That's it from Sports Tonight. Join Angie later on with weather. And in new media, a look at the first action camera with 180 degrees flip touchscreen. This and more after the break.
मैं नवनीत नंद नंबुआ लुम्बुआ से। जैसे प्रेनी नॉर्थ मशहूर है वैसे रेडियो फीजी 2 भी सभी जगह मशहूर है। रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
सीमा नकाशी से मैं रेडियो फीजी 2 पसंद करती हूँ सुनने के लिए। रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
मैं हूँ अंकल किंग सिंगाटोका टाउन के टैक्सी ड्राइवर। जैसे रग्बी फेमस है वैसे रेडियो फीजी 2 फेमस है।
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
In tonight's new media, we take a look at the first action camera with a 180-degree flip touchscreen. It's weather time now with Angie.
Hello there and welcome to the Weather World. These conditions are absolutely loved by all. It's not too muggy or anything. A sweet Friday, just like the burfi you had for Eid. Taking a look in the west, it's pretty as always. Couldn't have asked for a better and glorious day. Eastwards from Peck Harbour to Suva, it was cool with some showers swinging by in the afternoon. And up north, sunny spells were active but turned gloomy later on. At sea, southeast winds gusting 15 to 20 knots, moderate to rough seas. For the tides, low tide at 10:06 p.m. with high tide at 3:59 a.m. Sunrise at 6:33. For tomorrow, there is a slight possibility of rain. Other than that, get your sunnies on. Tomorrow's temps, Suva will be quite cool at 25 degrees. Wow, that's very cool. And looking further on to Sunday, the coolness and perfect weather will spread out and last for the weekend. Have a great one. And that's all from the FBC Weather World. Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. In Fijian Pulse tonight, we asked, what do you expect in the 2019-2020 national budget announcement tonight?
I would look forward to seeing a budget that is for the people in terms of bringing the costs down, especially in terms of household items, groceries and things like that.
We do hope that whatever comes out tonight will also, the government of the day will also look for the set of the budget in order to help those who are low income earners.
I expect more allocation for the education sector.
Actually, I'm hoping from the budget so the people of the Fiji, they have a good living and hopefully it's good for everyone.
I'm hoping that the basic food item prices will go down.
In the world of the weird and the wonderful, Amazon has said it will use drones to deliver packages to customers within months. It unveiled its latest idea at a conference in Las Vegas, touting the machine's ability to spot obstacles such as people, dogs and clotheslines. And recapping the main stories for tonight, budget likely to encourage more private sector investment. FTU hopes budget will address teacher shortages. And tax incentives needed for small businesses in rural areas. For these stories and others, tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. Our poll question, we're asking, should our Sevens players be given cash incentives after winning the World 7 Series? Visit the FBC website to answer. And our shot of the day taken by Jackie Tambua at the Nandi Towers, shot of the major fire to business located just outside the airport while an Airbus is landing. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj, via Facebook page FBC News, follow on Twitter Tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or hashtag FBC News. That was your FBC News for tonight. From the team and I, have a safe and blessed weekend. Good night.
Bula, nevang go malakai leloma, ngongai nakas untuk makarong ng Bula FM, nambang 2 na sere.
Hoya o basit sai sa Lambasa, untuk talita na warong ng Bula FM, nambang 2 na sere.
Guya Dr. Meli, ako na tao no hinga toka, talita kina na warong ng Bula FM, nambang 2 na sere.
Warong tuma ng Bula FM, nambang 2 na sere, nambang 1.
Nevang go fane na tao na ngo singa toka, kita untuk talita ka ng Bula FM, nambang 2 na sere.
Bula FM, nambang 2 na sere.